Welcome to MDV, The Blueprint. I am your host, Michael Della Vella. Today's episode is one that should have been done a while ago. It's kind of like the birth of this podcast and how everything came about and what Gianni's role is in this. So we're just going to talk about how we started this, what goes into it, and what our goals for in this podcast. And we'll probably do a little bit of nonsense talking as well as just happens in conversation. So without further ado, Gianni Della Vella, welcome. I mean, you're always on every single one of these podcasts.
I am in the background, but this is the first time that I'm a guest on it. So this is exciting.
What I kind of wanted to do this morning, G, is talk about, in your opinion, how did we come about doing this? I mean, a lot of people ask me, what made you do this? There's so many layers. I'd love to hear where you thought it came from.
No, I agree. I think that we were just playing around with the podcasting equipment, if I'm not mistaken, at first.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to talk movies and be able to log it and make a show out of it, because that's something that we were really passionate about, that we always do. And through playing around with the equipment, I think the idea kind of hit. We ended up doing a couple of informational sit downs with some of our friends and saying, hey, these are cool conversations. You know, we can do something with these. And I think people could use this information. And then we got Amy involved and we put our heads together and came up with the whole brand idea and the idea for the show. And it's taken off since then.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to take it back further. So what kind of, like, I was never really into social media up until this year. I had not really never went on Facebook and then never did much with Instagram. I had a lot of people in the office just handle all that stuff. And I got my guilty pleasure is TikTok. And just going down the
understandable
of TikTok, I got into Instagram. And the other guilty pleasure I have is I love listening to podcasts, whether it's sitting in an office, working out by myself, if I'm listening to it, or whatever I do. That's kind of how
me too. I mean, it can be so entertaining, and that's something that you can do so easy. It's like throwing on an audiobook, but it's useful information, which is so cool. And, you know, the industry focused kind of sphere that we're in is useful to a lot of people. You know, it's growing in the right way, I think.
And that's the thing. And we went into this blind, and
totally
you
blind.
knew way more than I did. But why don't you talk about that? What do you do on each episode? I don't think, anybody can just do this and talk and make it live and record it. But we've actually built a whole, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. You've built an entire platform.
I got to give you some credit too, because we pretty much YouTube University this whole process of how we're going to record a podcast, how we're going to chop it up. I mean, at least I watched you in the basement doing tons. You logged hours of YouTube
hours,
just figuring out, hey, what's the best thing to use, getting the, knowledge of kind of industry standards and things, which I don't know that we have them. We're just kind of doing our thing, and it seems to be working. People like it. We get it out every week. But as far as what goes into each episode, it's this portion, obviously sitting here. We organize the footage. I throw it into DaVinci. We cut it up and, just clean up any parts where we'll pause.
Besides what you do as a producer, I've done one show with you, one show.
Right.
And it was a complete disaster.
Disaster.
I talked for about an hour and 45 minutes, and it was nonsense. I had no idea how much that you meant to it, because you keep the show on pace. I know that when you're not on screen, you spend a lot of time making notes and talking about the conversation, and you're actually maybe doing something else you're working on, but you're listening in the background, and you're knowing, here's where my cut should be. That conversation was terrible. I got to take that out. Or, wow, that was really good. I'm just, you make your notes and you have it so well organized when we're ready to market this stuff. What else? What are the biggest things you've learned doing this?
I I could tell you the biggest things that I've learned about doing a podcast format, but I think it applies to a lot of things. I mean, sitting in the background as the producer, just listening to something while it's being recorded, having that attention to detail while things are going on in the moment will save your life. I've learned a whole lot about real estate, that's for sure. A whole lot.
I think so, right? You've learned a
Yeah,
ton.
I've learned fireplaces. I've learned about kitchen remodels, builders, architects, mortgage rates, everything, which has actually been pretty interesting. You know, I believe in this podcast. I believe in the information, and I think it's really, really good. I mean, I've gotten full education here.
And then again, I took what I talk about to heart. We actually had that conversation from the Joe Tricasso episode, because you listened to all that, and you know,
Right.
we all talked about here's where this is the death file, and
Right.
if anything goes wrong, here's
which is
where
something I would have been like, oh, this is crazy that you're showing me this. Why are you showing me this?
why am I showing you this? But I mean, that brought that on, and it
Makes sense.
It makes total sense, complete sense.
How have you seen the podcast grow so far? What have you seen change from first episode to what we're doing now?
That's a good question. I think how it's changed for me is I'm extremely comfortable talking to people. I mean, I love having the conversation. I feel that the more you do this, the more you become comfortable with it, the more you find your voice. You kind of get into a rhythm. But I've seen it change with how it's been marketed. There's so much stuff behind the scene that goes into it, from coming up with the questions, from pre-talking to everybody, and then after it's done, what is amazing? Here's where I think it's changed the most. We were just, you know, we could have just recorded it and put it out, but we didn't do that. You put music to it. You put a standard intro. We put an outro. We have the clips are done. You do promotions every week. We do reels. Promoting that is huge. It's just been a whole format of advertising that I never understood and didn't know much about, but it's on you. I think it's on you and Amy coming up with a game plan for us and helping us develop this whole format. But you put it all together. It doesn't happen without you.
Right. I mean, I'm very proud of where it's come to, and I think it has a lot of room to grow. I by no means think that we have it all figured out, but I think that we've done a damn good job so far of getting this thing together, getting it standardized. Like you said, the music and the intros were non-existent for the first 4 episodes, 3 episodes maybe. And we've kind of played with them. We've got them in a place where we like them now. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Just seeing how it's grown, and it does take a lot of work behind the scenes. It's like a full-time job basically. But
How many hours you put into each episode? Just ballpark it.
I mean, that just depends. It's a lot of hours behind the scenes of editing, writing, proofreading, cutting those clips together. I mean, setting a content schedule, sending emails to people, follow-ups, cross-promotional things. And the editing is the brunt of the work. It's really a lot of where everything happens. Cleaning things up, making sure sound is good. I think anybody could be a podcaster nowadays. It's like throw a couple mics in a living room. You can,
but you can't.
But it takes a lot of technical know-how for editing and sound, and we've kind of grown a bit in that area. Things have been piling on since we've started, so we'll continue to add new platforms and continue to add new things to each episode. I'm sure music will fluctuate, you know, just tweaking things. That's the nice thing about right now. You know, we're a small time thing. We have so much room to grow. We have so much we can do. Consistency is key. Consistency and hard work is key.
I heard some crazy number of the amount of podcasts there are in the United States. Pretty much everybody is a podcaster now. Every celebrity does a podcast. Sports people, even that are playing today, are doing podcasts. Everyone does a podcast. I mean, there's only so much that you can listen to about celebrities and their life. I mean, there's also so many interesting people that are just local. And that's my whole goal, is to bring the local knowledge, the local experts to the forefront.
To your point, I think that sets us apart a bit, our podcast, because, you know, there are so many podcasts out there. We're an industry podcast. I mean, and that's how it's been working so far. And it does add value to people's lives. It really is a big industry that people spend a lot of time thinking about. And it's like I've heard you guys say, one of the biggest financial decisions that people will make in their life. It adds value to a listener's real estate life when they listen to this, their home ownership life.
Well, think about this. You've never bought a house. You're not in the market.
No,
But how much do you know in 9, 10 episodes in about real estate?
a whole lot.
Yeah.
I've gotten to know a lot. I would feel confident going and scouting out the market now that I know all that I do.
Today, the social media and as what everyone refers to as content creation. Why has that become so valuable to companies? It seems like that's where everything is going.
Right. I mean, it is incredibly valuable to companies. The thing is, you have a smartphone in front of every person's face. That's like having a TV on in front of everybody's face. It's a powerful tool, social media. And just to have things on it is very, very valuable to a company. You get so many eyes on things. You get so many people talking about whatever it is that, you sell or that you promote. I can say, and you can probably say, I'm guilty of this. I have sat on my phone and just been hypnotized basically by Instagram, just scrolling, or TikTok or whatever the app may be. That's how many hours of opportunity for somebody to put something right in front of my face. And not only that, but I can click on it and go right to the internet and I could buy it right from there.
It's insane. I barely watch network television anymore. Barely. I'll watch a football game and then I get ads that way. But I do not really watch regular television, not even for news. Everything that I see is all the advertising and stuff coming at me is through
Is on your phone,
Instagram,
right? I mean, I'm sure that
TikTok,
a lot of people are the same way.
Facebook, and it's everything. And it's amazing how many major companies have went to that, and even the content creators that get in and do advertising and promotion for businesses. Brilliant. They
Brilliant.
have all these people promoting their products.
It's incredible. I mean, I hope to work in it more and more. It's just really, really a cool, not only creative outlet, but a great marketing exercise every time you do something.
How has your business, Gold Door Video, that you started it even when you were in college, how has it evolved for you? What did it look like when you started it as opposed to what it is today?
I would say when I started it, I really didn't know what it was going to be. I mean, I started by filming houses on my iPhone with a little hand gimbal and then teaching myself through experience and through trial and error how to cut up these house tour videos and what people wanted. And that worked out for me. And I was making house tour videos. That's what Gold Door Video started as. I started it during COVID
Right.
in 2020, just because I had no, I was applying to jobs. I was trying to get internships. Everything was being canceled at the time. So there was really no other option but to just either sit around and wait for everything to be over or to go out and create something for yourself. So that's what I wanted to do. And it worked out. It was really, really nice for that first however long until I went back to college. And then it kind of fell off for a while because I was at school. And I came home, I picked it back up, got in contact with people again. And I've been doing it ever since then, ever since I graduated last year. Now it's evolved not only in the sense that the equipment has gotten so much more advanced. I've been able and fortunate enough to upgrade to a drone, a new camera, a computer. The editing setup has grown tremendously and helped out with the workload. So I'm able to take on more projects. I'm able to do things at a higher volume and do them faster. And everything's become more refined. But I've also added photography and kind of tried to grow it, just adding new things, adding new angles to what I do.
I can say this. You have always been the type of person that, okay, I want to do this. I'm going to get up. I don't know how to do it. I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to do it. I don't know if it's you as your as an individual, because I think all you and your brothers are exactly the same way, or it's your generation. There's no fear. There's no self-doubt. You just go at it. It's, I can do this. And if I can't do it, I'm going to figure it out. Where older generations are like, I know nothing about that, and I'm not even going to attempt it. You're going to teach yourself. You're going to do it. You did not know how to edit videos,
I did not.
and you taught yourself. And you're amazing at it. You're the Adobe, the Da Vinci, I mean, you're top notch what you can do.
Thank you. I mean, I don't mean to downplay any of that because I'm very proud of what I've been able to do with it. And I do think that it was a big leap to try to teach myself all of that. But we are fortunate to have the internet. And that's where I learned pretty much all of this stuff. I mean, I didn't go to school to become a video editor. I didn't go to school to study photography or figure out, how to use a camera or how to use editing software or lighting, or that's all just passion stuff that, and that helps with it. I really do love anything to do with a video camera, to be honest with you. That's why I love movies too. I mean, it's a cool passion project when it starts, and I've enjoyed it enough that I didn't stop doing it. And I don't think I will. I mean, it's something you can do as a side hustle if you don't do it full time. It's just good work. And like I said, YouTube helps with everything. I mean, you've kind of found that out.
Oh, I use it for everything.
I call it YouTube University.
YouTube University. I never heard that before. That's absolutely fantastic.
Right?
So all this stuff that you've learned, and then you turn this into, oh, you know what? I'm going to make a movie. I'm going to do a short film. I'm going to write it. I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to star in it. I'm going to edit it, produce it, do the score. Did that come from all the movies that you were working on with people in Cleveland? Is that where that started with you?
A bit, yeah. A lot of the inspiration. It's always good to be around people that are actively making things and that, believe in themselves too. And a community really inspires you to do stuff. So that definitely got the ball rolling. But I mean, me and you and Dante and Luca had been making these little short movies
since COVID. I mean,
yeah.
How we didn't again, I wasn't into any of these social medias. We were just making movies and having fun with them, making movies, having a ball, laughing for our own.
It was awesome. We weren't like, oh, we got this great idea and we can't go do it because we don't have this and we don't have that. That never, ever came up ever.
But again, that's where I'm saying that it's your generation. You have no fear. You just embrace and do. Where I would have been, well, I don't have this kind of camera and I don't know what to do. It's just, let's do it. And let's ad lib it. It was great. Here's the situation. Here's the scene. Let's act this out. Gangster films, a ball. We had so much fun with it. And as crazy as COVID was, I will never not just be so thankful for that time that we were in lockdown.
Yeah.
It was incredible. There's so much lost footage that I have to get off the GoPro and my small camera. It's so much lost COVID footage that we're going to have to go.
Oh my God. I came across some the other day. It was so good. It was us shooting a scene and we couldn't figure out where we wanted to shoot it. So we tried the attic. We all crawled in that little crawl space into the attic and shot a scene in there. And it was
my God,
fantastic. We were laughing our asses off. And it was almost hard to get a take because it was so funny. I think you're right. I mean, I don't know. I think it's very easy to get caught up in the fact that you don't have something when in reality, you don't necessarily need you don't need all the fancy equipment. You don't need all of those things. It's not going to make you a better movie maker. I think that what we've done in going out and doing things and being a little fearless and just having fun with it. I mean, that's the main goal. Anyways, it's a movie. You want it to be fun. Something that I would tell myself if I could from 5 years ago, I would say, don't, get caught up in what you don't have. Just go out and do something and you'll figure it out along the way. I think that that's great advice for anybody.
No, it's fantastic advice.
So you mentioned earlier, and I just want to give it a little plug, is the short film that I was making after we did all of these. I don't even want to call them family movies because to me that kind of downplays them. I mean, they were really cool.
They're all short films. We've made several short films.
They're cool, and we added a little bit of flair to them, and they were awesome. Even the one, remember when we took the your car and went down the
fantastic Bradley Woods.
Bradley Woods, yeah. And I was hanging out of the back of the Jeep with like a gimbal, and then we put GoPros on the car. I mean, that was so cool,
amazing, and the shots. Awesome, where people would have a car following it with a whole big camera on, and I mean we made it work. and it looked unbelievable.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was pre-drone. That was no drone
Pre-drone.
then.
Yeah, we did not have the drone there. And the drone, I'm sure, would have helped. It would have looked pretty cool with that too.
So let's talk about your endeavor this year with your short film. I've seen it. I think it's amazing. But why don't you talk about the whole concept? How
Thank you.
You started it, inception, start to finish.
Well, you got to start by writing your script. I mean, that's what I did first. I'm by no means like a great screenwriter or anything, but if you just aren't afraid to put some crap on the page and then figure it out afterwards, then you'll make something. So I wrote it. Handed it off to Dante, handed it off to you guys. Dante's a pretty talented writer, to be honest with you. I mean, he gave me a lot of good tips and added a lot of value where he made his marks. And so I took that once I felt like it was in a good place. I sat on it for way too long. I sat on it for a while. And I got a hold of my friend, Nick. He has a great space in his apartment that I thought would look really, really cool for this particular idea. And then it just took a long time to be like, hey, when am I going to section out a day to just go over there and bring a camera and bring a couple lights and dress up and see if we can't shoot something that we like. And actually, we went over there twice. Me and Dante went over there one time just to test out the room and see what it all looked like and plan it out, which I think was very valuable. That helped us a lot, because if we would have just gone with that first day, I think we would have had something I would have been a little less than happy with. But yeah, I mean, it was a huge learning experience for me. I mean, I didn't go in there and I wasn't like, hey, I know exactly what I'm doing. If I would have gone back, I would have done a couple things differently. But you know, that's what was so cool about it, and that's why I'm very proud of it, because it turned out to be something that I really like and that I've been excited to share with people, and it's gotten a good reception so far with friends and family and everybody, and I want to get more people to see it.
But think about that. You only did 2 days of shooting. It's not like I'm going to revision it.
It was really one day. I mean, that first day
you're right. It was one day, and then one day setup, one day shoot. So that's
right.
That's incredible.
It was awesome. Luca was a huge help. I mean, you just got to grab people that that'll add whatever value they can. You don't need to be Martin Scorsese, and you don't need to be Greg Nicotero with The Walking Dead's effects. You just go out and do something. I mean, Luca added great stuff on his props design. He's in graphic design school, so I said to him, hey, you could totally do something with this, and he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, it's but the time you spent on it is that's self-taught you editing though, correct?
I would say that made me a way better editor. That whole process took, I don't know. I mean, you could probably tell better than I could, because I was so in the weeds with it that I don't even think I remember how long it took me. It had to be a month.
Yeah.
Of editing. That's just sitting there looking at it. And the luster of it is lost on me at this point, because I've watched it damn near 1,000 times.
Right, but every time I see it, I pick up something different, and I appreciate it so much because I saw it from raw footage, what it looked like, what it sounded like, to final product. And could you go back and make it better? Absolutely.
Sure.
My advice would be go on to your next one.
I agree.
Take what you learned here. Just keep doing what you want to do. Film another one. Do another one. Do it again. It's not like you spent your time. You didn't spend a ton of money on it. So you just keep doing it until you get a name for yourself. You're so talented. Absolutely unbelievably talented.
Well, I'm very fortunate that I have, such a great crew of people around me. I mean, you guys, I don't know if I would keep doing it if I didn't have the support of you guys, if I didn't have support of friends. That stuff helps a lot. It really does. So I appreciate that more than I could even tell you.
I'm proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I wanted to get your thoughts. What are some of the goals going forward for the podcast?
My whole goal for this podcast was not to be this crazy podcast that's listened by everyone everywhere. It was just I want to do a local podcast that's geared towards real estate, small businesses, and just be the expert in my industry and let people know that here's some valuable information, rather than me just saying, hey, I just listed this house. So it was being different, and I have never had any more expectations of growing this more than to the local market, and it's doing it. I can see from where the people are coming in and following and liking and engaging. So it's doing that. I certainly think that, we could double it, but as 10 episodes in, that's pretty good. So thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Make sure to follow us on social media at MDV The Blueprint on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We post a ton of great content. And please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast channel so you never miss out on an episode. Thanks again, and see you next time.